We're live. Hello, welcome. Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and this is Movie Crap Live, which I assume I'm going live to. Oh, an ad. Not cool. That's annoying. Who fucking does that? Anyway, hello. Hello. How's it going? Sorry. It was taking me a minute to get going. We are here. Thank you for the helpful suggestions. Thank you. Hello, Sinram, Cornbread, Rocket Lobax, Quicksilver. How's it going? Super Adusky, Ramsey the Artist, Purple Goop, Nathaniel Foga. I saw in there. Hi, Post the Stud. What? Austin? Ryan Walterson is back. Oh my god. I have some Annie stuff. I was just thinking, I hope Ryan's here because he can correct me. I mean that I want him to. But I'm glad my boy Ryan's here. I think I said Ramsey the Artist, but if I didn't, hello. Hello to everyone who is here. I very much appreciate... Wait, I didn't listen. Annie stuff. Oh, there I am. Okay. Let's just switch over. Currently in Baltimore. Hey, that's cool. I did hear about the Richardson, so I wasn't going to go into it too much. Why was it peaking a bit? I hope it's not too bad. Whoop. Okay, that was bad. I was just checking something. Okay, hello. Welcome to this very professional stream. Hello, Hi-Fi Hour. Is that a new? I think you're new. Hello, welcome. Yes. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. I think we have a good show. It's been an interesting week. Sorry about that. I don't know. Been a crazy week, just taking care of everybody. But I'm happy to do the show. Oh, not plausible. Hello, happy to do the show. It's been a crazy day. Everybody's, sickness and getting everybody to school and stuff. But I'm happy to end my day doing this. So, not too much channel stuff. I'm still sort of trying to do one that's one movie that's kind of a bigger movie, one is a smaller movie, sort of. Stuff like that. But I don't know if there's anything else too crazy. I guess I did watch I don't know if I mentioned last week that there was a Willie Nelson doc that I watched from Paramount Plus that was really good. That's pretty cool. Slowly making my way through Carol and the End of the World. Probably will have I don't think I'm doing a full review. I'm not like hey, a guy named Crystal. Hey, Chan talks more movies. Look at these people. I'm not a huge, hello, Al Vasquez. What's up? I'm not like a huge Has Been Hotel person. And I felt like as I was putting out reviews, I was like, I think people think I'm like a fan. I'm not really. And so I'll probably just do a quick thing on the, of the first two, kind of a short thing. But I have nothing against it or Vizzy Pop or any of that nonsense. I don't really dislike a lot of that stuff. I don't know the deal with it, and I don't want to get into it. That's basically it. She was very nice to me when I met her on a pizza party, though. She was a nice person. And supposedly we had met before that. Supposedly, I don't remember that, but the Paramount Plus documentary is Willie Nelson and the Family. You know what? I will find it out right now because okay, where are we? We'll just search. I'm just gonna search. Oh, there's a new At Midnight with Taylor Thomason. I love her. Okay, Willie Nelson and Family. That is exactly what it's called. I think they're doing one on June Carter also. But yeah, Willie Nelson Family. It's really good. And I don't know. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I listened to some Willie Nelson, but I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of albums. Like I heard the IRS tapes and stuff, but yeah, that she was at MomoCon. I did not meet her then. That was I think I meant sorry I meant because I worked at SVA when she was there and she said we'd run into each other, but I didn't remember it. That's what I meant. Sorry, we did not meet when has been other than after has been other than Pizza Party. For the record, unless she was at a thing I was at and I didn't realize it. So maybe one of those on it, but I didn't realize the SVA thing. So it could be that too, possibly. Um, yes, yeah. True Detective, good so far. I like the Thing influence thing. I don't think. Sorry, this is just the loose part. I'm watching a lot of snow stuff. I watched a Simpsons episode, Mr. Plow, today because today was nuts. And I wanted like a de-stressor show, and I was like, you know what, Mr. Plow's pretty good, and it is. It's still, still really funny. I know. I have one part where he's like, like, do you think I will buy a 20,000 car because you go? He goes, yes, and he just goes, and he goes, oh, I'll buy the car. Hello, Jordan Slavalo. Anyway, and we goes on. The two things tonight, the segments are Mickey Mouse with Plain Crazy, which is the first one made. Fourth one released, which that was surprising to me when I did research. I was like, I thought it was third, but it is not, although it is among the original three made. Although it's the first one made, so whatever. And here's a fun fact. I'll tell you now. Maybe I'll get you excited. Plain Crazy, the silent version, is in the public domain, but the version with sound in it is not in the public domain until next year because of how it was released. So I think I don't know if that's true of Galloping Gaucho. That'll be soon, I believe, next up. But yeah, it is snowing near me. Thank you for asking. I will show. You can't see it. The drink has been revealed. Oh, hey, what's up, Izzy? Izzy's always back here, but it's nice to see you on the chat. I should have posted the Instagram thing. I forgot that. Anyway, but yeah, if I get a super chat, I will reveal the drink that Cornbread already read. Oh, hey, fourth one release. Now that's just plain crazy. Tunjay, oh my god. I love the punniness of that. All right, I only got this because it was at the grocery store. Let me preface that, so I didn't have to look that hard. And I was like, it's snowing. I'll go with the snow theme. So it's this Monster Zero Ultra, which Cornbread guessed. It took Cornbread a while. I was surprised. I didn't think it was the greatest hint in the world. I thought it wasn't great, but apparently it took him a while. So cheers to you. Cheers to you, Tunjay723. That was an amazing super chat. I gotta say that was puntastic. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. Interesting taste. Interesting. All right. I want to talk about some. Apparently, people like this. Yeah, people like this. Okay, I'll try to get into it. I'm not a big Monster fan. I try to do different ones. I think since we're doing these every week, we'll see. I'm not sure. Well, I want to announce some. I got some announcy thingies to do. First off, where are we? Oh, so the big. I have to have my scripts. I remember. I don't forget a thing I'm supposed to say. Whoa, 2 Izzies in the chat. I mean, how many streaming shows have that? I gotta say. Okay, first off, the next film art video is done, and it's been done for a little bit, and I was kind of not sure when to release it. I didn't want to release it too close, but I want to release it this month, so it's going to come out, I believe, God willing. You never know because I'm just one dude. I believe next Thursday, what is that? It's the 24th. Did I get it right? No, 25th. On the 25th, it's called Phone Buggin'. It'll be out next Thursday for the public, Wednesday on Patreon, before the show on Wednesday. I am not sure if, I don't know, I think I used to do like 2 separate streams for Oscars. It's just hard to, like, with everything going on in life, to do too many 2 separate ones. So I'll approach that, but there will be a show on Wednesday. If it's just a nominations one, it'll be in the post and all that stuff. But there'll be a new cartoon on Thursday. So that'll be pretty cool. I hope you guys are excited. And if you're a Patreon person, I hope you like seeing it around a little bit more than 24 hours early. I'm excited to share that with you guys. It's a little, the last 2 are different, and then the one I'm going to start working on, I've written, is going to be more like what you expect. But I wanted to do these different ones. I like to mess around with my little cartoon film rat video. But the new one will be this coming Thursday. I hope. Get hyped, everybody. Also, I'm going to do sort of some re-releases, I guess, where I take like the various songs, like Akira Slide is going to be re-released as a short on, I believe, Sunday. I'm not going to do re-releases like that a lot, just for the songs and for the Strong Bed Dance thing, because it's its 20th anniversary this year. But I don't really want to make a habit of doing that. It'll just be for certain things. So if you see that, don't be like, oh man, Jim, this is fucking lame. You can just not watch them if it really bothers you, but it's only going to be like 5 things, and they'll be like spread out. I think maybe a song will come out leading up to the new film route, so maybe I'll just have the Akira Slide, and then I'll have the other ones tied together, and then, yeah, it'll be like a tradition thing. I hope you guys don't hate it too much. I just thought to get Akira Slide out there a little more, because I'm sort of proud of it, so... what was it? Oh, and throwbacks. I obviously had Soul. That's a pretty easy one, because Soul's like, in theaters. This is also why I'm doing the Pete Docter, Winter short, which was a student film. And then, the next one, which is on Friday, is actually one that I have like a fondness for. I don't know if anyone else does. It's called Homefront. It is a Jason Statham movie. It was written by Stallone, but not starring in. One of the rare ones he does that. And then, the villain is James Franco during his like I'll do anything period. And my funny story about this is true. I had the poster in my like projection booth when I worked. We were doing this event, and James Franco was coming to speak, and I joked with someone who's in the booth with that he will. He'll mention Homefront, and then he'll come up and he'll sign the poster. And I don't know. James Franco, I like could go back and forth on that. Now I don't. He's a weird dude, and obviously very problematic, and is kind of I think working on himself. But at this event, like he was very nice. His team was like super cool, and but everyone thought I was being silly about Homefront. And I thought it was like this silly movie. Like, why would he do a villain in a Jason Statham movie? That's such a random thing. And then during the Q&A, he organically brought up Homefront like 3 times. And the people in the booth were like, did you ask him to do it? Like, what's going on? It's like really funny. He did not sign the poster though. So anyway, that is not in the review, because that happened later, like a lot later than the review was posted. But anyway, I have a weird fondness for that movie, just because I find it such a weird. I like sometimes when it's like a weird amalgamation of like, you got this person and this person wrote it and this, and it's like at the end you're just like, why did all these people come together? And that's sort of like one of those for me. So anyway, it's like a film. I think of the Jason Statham ones, I think of like Crank and it was like Crank and Transporter and The Expendables and Fast and Furious. But I always think like, I was always reminded of Homefront. I was like, remember when he did like a Stallone movie that was written by Stallone? Like the whole script, not like the Creeds where it's like characters by or whatever. Like Stallone's not in it at all. It's odd. Oh, this is a shirt. Someone gave it to me, and it's a Over the Garden Wall shirt. Anyway, I think those are all the things. I hope you've been liking the stuff. I hope you like. I made a Mickey Mouse reviews playlist. I don't know if I'm going to do. I've started Barn Dance, which came out before Plane Crazy. I don't know if I like doing classic cartoon shorts. We might be seeing more of those because it seems like people are into them. Please tell me if you are not. All right. I don't think I have any funny retorts or anything. I hope you're all doing good. I don't know. I feel like the channel's been doing really, really good lately, and that's nice. And yeah, I don't know. A little surprised people were so shocked by the TED thing, which we'll get into later, and the Nostalgia Critic. Oh, I should have had my charger out. Okay, we're okay right now though. Have the Nostalgia Critic thing. Maybe I shouldn't have said he was racist, but I feel like I should never talk about Nostalgia Critic. Nothing good really comes from talking about Nostalgia Critic. You also have to watch Nostalgia Critic, and that's even worse. Oh, I'm sorry your stay sucked at Quicksilver. That's not fun. All right, let's actually get into stuff. So let's start off with... well, anyway. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. We have one. Hold on. We'll start with Paul Blart TV show when set in the Akira universe. I love it. I'm actually surprised there wasn't a Paul Blart cartoon show. Back in the 90s it would have happened. But cheers to you, Black Sax Wiggle. Sorry. The Nostalgia Critic thing was just on Twitter where I was saying where there's like this Shyamalan clip where he's like talking about everything. Why do people hire him? And had like a person doing a dumb dance. And I thought, because other people were saying like he kept calling him Shyamalan a ding dong, and I shouldn't have called. I don't like when people used to say that about M. Night, and I do think that's kind of racist. But people didn't like that part. But what he said is like, why do people keep hiring M. Night? And I was like, well, no one hires M. Night. M. Night pays for his own movies. He's ever since the one before Split, where it's like the old people in the house, whatever that one was called, where like the kids think they're visiting their grandparents, but they're not, and all that. Sorry, spoilers. That ever since that one, because he used his After Earth paycheck to pay for that movie. All his movies are self-financed, from my understanding, and he uses Universal as merely a distributor. So I thought that was actually fairly inaccurate. I was like, well, dude, like no one does hire him. He hires himself. The Visit. Thank you, Gisriel. I did review it. Like, I have seen it. That's a problem I have, is sometimes I will not remember the name of a movie that I can describe the movie. Anyway. All right. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Super Chats, where I'll drink this amazing Monster Energy drink, which apparently everybody likes, or through my Patreon, which has all sorts of cool stuff. There's actually going to be if you've been watching my weird like music shorts, there's going to be a combo short of that, which will be Patreon exclusive, which will come out later in this week. There is the commentary series where I recently did a Knock Force commentary, and we'll be doing another commentary soon. And you get postcards, you get more power in the movie review vote, all sorts of cool stuff. Or put a movie in the movie review vote as well. All sorts of neat stuff that you can take advantage of, and it'll help me support the channel, which will help me get new equipment, help me put up stickers and promote the channel, and other things, which we'll get into soon. But if you want to help me continue to make videos, it's a great way to do that. If you are financially able to do so. If not, you can always like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and all that stuff. And I have all sorts of cool stuff like throwbacks. I'm trying to utilize that well to like, there's so many videos to, help you guys see some of the cool ones that maybe no one's discovering, and all that sort of stuff. But if you're just watching this video and, you're having a good time, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. As well as check out the Discord, where you can hang out with everyone who's in the chat. Is mostly there, I think so. Run very well by Austin and Zane Powers. You get all sorts of interactivity, including a movie night they put on every week. They did Spice World last week. I need to stop by at some point for one of the movie nights. I have not. But they also do things like there's the Ask Jim channel where you can ask me a question anytime, although you can do that, anytime. Cornbread does a thumbnail prediction, which I am interested to see the one. I haven't seen this one this week, but I go to after the show and check out or the next morning. And also General's a good one. The General chat, the license playing card thing. I still have these. I need to get one of the new decks. I'm sorry. And it's a really cool thing. So if you just are nervous about Discord or anything, but you watch the show and you like the chat beside me, I highly suggest you go on it. It's really cool. As well as I have a Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, personal, and videos. And yeah. Anyway, let's get into... I think that's everything. Oh, the other thing is 2 things about this show specifically. One, it's been a crazy day. I do not think I will get to do the timestamp things tonight. I might do a loose one where it's like, this is movie news. This is the segments that might be the most. I will get those as soon as I can, but it's been a crazy day. I don't think I can. I think I will. I don't want to fall asleep. I did last week. And I posted what I had at least done. So, apologies. I kind of want to put something like, hey, I'm just one guy, so I'm trying my best. So, anyway, I just want to say that. Also, if you see ones where there's like a million ads on it, I do not do that. YouTube does that. And when I catch it, I correct it. And I try to do it like once every half hour, which I think is fair. So if you see it and it's like egregious, like let me know and I will try to correct it when I can. I just wanted to bring that up. All right. Let's get into, first off, the Emmys. This was one of the weirder Emmy ceremonies because, per example, the Bear won for Best Comedy. Just one guy trying his best, the Jim Gisriel story. I mean, kind of. They were voted on over the summer. They didn't get awarded till now. And The Bear actually won for season 1 when season 2's been out for a very long time. So it's kind of been it's kind of been a bit, it's a weird award season because of the strikes. And I think it's a weird award season because of the strikes, and I think it made it kind of just a strange, I don't know, it's just weird because the Golden Globes shouldn't happen right before the Emmys and all that stuff. And and having like a show win for something that aired in, I think people are saying 2022, is bizarre. And I do think this award season stinks because we're having like several things on top of each other, and it's like apparently they're actually having problems like having gowns for people and like makeup and stuff. Like they're like running out to do all these award shows I read. But anyway, I don't have a ton to say about the Emmys. I want to talk about it a little. I do think like Quinta Brunson and Ao, I'm not going to be able to say her name. What's her name from The Bear? I really like that they both won. That's the first time Ao Adebri, I believe, won. This first time 2 black women have won Best Supporting and Best Actress in a comedy. That's the first time that's ever happened. I think that's pretty amazing. I also thought Abbott Elementary should have won more. Abbott Elementary is like a great show. Like Cheryl Lee Ralph, I would have been fine with winning too, but I like Ao, so it's like okay. I noticed Jury Duty was maybe, I don't know. It's like if Bear wasn't in that, could Jury Duty, which was a massive hit, had won? Or James Marsden, who, you know, it'd be nice if James Marsden got that bag. Tunjay corrected. Emmy consideration for the ceremony was between June 1st, 2022 to May 1st, 2023. Oh, yeah. So Bear season 2 wasn't eligible. Some people did question, did the voters know what season of the Bear they were voting on? Because when they're voting, season 2 had just come out or something. Anyway, it's just like weird, the whole thing. I do like the Bear. I liked some of them. It does feel like, and this has been a complaint a lot of people had, and I don't want to make a video like Hollywood's always obsessed with the same few things, but it does sort of feel that way. Because, like, honestly, like, how many of this is Succession, The Bear, Beef? There's, like, so few. I mean, Niecy Nash one. I think that's really cool for Dahmer, which I didn't watch, but I love Niecy Nash. Or Niecy Nash Bets. I apologize, Niecy Nash. But it did feel like if you're not watching particular certain shows, you don't know what's going on. And I did find that to be annoying. But, I find that to be annoying in general. It's like we all have to nominate this. We all have to like the same crap or whatever. But Stephen Young did get one. Beef got one, which I think is cool. John Oliver won for writing, but what was it? Trevor Noah won for Best Talk Show, which was kind of a final send off because he's leaving that show. Or has left that show, honestly. It's a little weird seeing everyone up with him. I was like, I thought he left a while ago. I don't know. It wasn't too surprising, kind of who I thought. I would have given more to Abbott Elementary, who's me personally. But it is interesting, like of the best comedy series, Ted Lasso and Mrs. Maisel and Barry were all in their final season. So it'll probably actually be more interesting to see next year who's nominated, because so many of these perennial favorites are gone, so it'll give more shows a chance. But the few things I thought were interesting was when It's Always Sunny showed up, a lot of people were like, this show's gotten no Emmy love. And that's sort of my problem with a lot of these award shows, like the variety you'd see in both all of them across the board. I'm not actually pointing my finger at one directly. I'm pointing at all of them. Is used to have more variety, and you'd have like some random movie would get a screenplay, and some random actor would get a best supporting or something. And I do miss that. But Better Call Saul having the longest losing streak. I saw Bob Odenkirk on the red carpet is like, they invite me to these things, but I don't get hello Alex Raff butterflies or anything, because he knows he's not going to win. But it's like, why didn't they give him? I don't know. And then they award like the same people a lot. It's like, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. That was the Emmys. I just find it like a part of this very insufferable award season, basically. But the more interesting one, and maybe I should have switched it for the Annies, because the Annies is really where some major shit went down. And I'm not trying to be like, I care about certain ones of the Annies. I'm not like, I never watch it. I just read about it later. So let's talk about the Annie Awards and what happened, because I think a major moment in animation just went down. So Disney had released 2 movies this past year, basically. Elemental, which is a studio that's under them for, Pixar, and Wish. And usually they get a fair amount of nominations. They usually kind of win, all that stuff. And they didn't get jack shit, basically. They didn't get nominated for very many things. I think only a few. And they got completely shut out of Best Feature, which I thought was a statement on how the industry feels about. I'll try for it. Ryan does heavily suggest I watch the Annies, by the way. He does try, more so than anyone else does. He does try. My thing with the Annie Awards, the interesting thing is, like, they didn't get nominated, but Nimona, a film that they rejected and Netflix picked up, did get nominated, which I think is like one that's a good showing for Nimona in terms of when we get to the Oscars for Best Animated Feature. I think what will happen to Nimona will be interesting, because I do think it increases its chances quite significantly. And it shows that it just kind of it shows that there's a lot of love for Nimona, maybe more so than that. Are they doing a prediction stream this Friday? I didn't know that. Well, good for them. They didn't invite me, so I couldn't even do it. But yeah, Disney didn't have a good showing. But for Best Feature, we had Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzume, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, good for them, and The Boy and the Heron. Let's be real, it's all this award season is between Spider-Verse and The Boy and the Heron, or Heron, sorry. And then for Best Feature Independent, I think that will be interesting because it's Ernest and Celestine 2. For Souls of Coyote, The Robot Dreams, The Inventor, and White Plastic Sky. I haven't really heard of many of those. Going through this, there's certain things like I like that for Best TV Media Mature, Scavenger's Reign is in there. But I don't know why they nominate Big Mouth. I'm not a big fan of that. For Best Children's Media, why? Okay, I know Ryan told me this last year, and I know I'm a broken record, but like, why is Bluey not in this? Like, I don't understand. Is this because it's like, why what's the deal with that? Because it just feels like that is the biggest thing in kids media, and it's like, how is it never nominated? Like, I don't fully get like the perspective on why they do that. I'm sure like there is a reason, and I know I did this last year, but just to me it's like you're not really talking about preschool TV if you're not even mentioning Bluey. Seems a bit silly to me. And also, where's Paddington? Where's the Paddington show? That's a great show, and that's a newer show too. So I don't exactly understand that, because they have like Bat Wheels, which is like okay, G Happy, which I don't even know what that is. Played it with Winnie the Pooh, I guess. Storybots, cool, and the Creature Cases. Yeah, I guess Creature Cases is pretty big, but I would go with Storybots, honestly, that group. But it's like, where, like, I don't understand. Why would you not have that? I don't get it. I'm sorry. It's like, I know Bluey has everything, but like, you're just like not, I don't know. Anyway, I just don't get it. I feel like you guys, there is a exact reason, but I did like the Scavenger's Reigns in there. And Hilda and Moon Girl, which I guess did better. I guess Moon Girl did better than any other Disney thing. They maybe should do that. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget didn't get as much as I thought it would. It's interesting. And Ruby Gilman didn't get a ton. But there's a big animation here. So if anyone does know about the Bluey deal, but Paddington, okay, fine. But Paddington should still be nominated. I think there were new ones, weren't there? Or did we just watch it late? We probably watched it late. I mean, whatever. But I think this shows like what Disney's stature is, because this is animation kind of industry awards, and the fact that like they're barely considered, both Disney and Pixar, is like not a good sign at all. I'd say it's a pretty bad sign. And I would suggest that they probably wouldn't get an Oscar nomination. I could honestly also say I could see them squeaking out an Oscar nom. But I also could see them, I don't know. Okay, so Ryan Walsh says, again, which I agree, I am doing this again, and I apologize, I forgot, said it's a case of Bluey being an international production that is fully owned by an international studio, unlike the other noms, which are owned by North American companies. But, okay, so hear me out on this. But why does Studio Ghibli get to be in there, as well as Sesame and like other international things? Like, that doesn't, anyway. I know it's their thing, I think they should figure it out. But I do think like this, we could see when the Oscar nominations come out Tuesday, if Disney doesn't get one, then the public is more going to be talking about it. And I know like animation people are talking about what happened at the Annies, but I do think like this is a real, like they've got to like figure their shit out, because this is not good for Disney at this point. What we saw when these came out was major critical and kind of industry sign that like you are not making the interesting experimental stuff anymore. And like Spider-Verse is, and even Ninja Turtles was far more interesting than Elemental. So I do think in design-wise, animation-wise, writing-wise, I haven't seen Wish, so I don't want to shit on it too much or anything. But I do think, like, Disney just being Disney is not going to cut it anymore, and they need to figure it out, because this was not a good thing for them, not getting any Annie nominations. That should be a layup at this point. It should not be what went down is bad. Like, they're thinking more of the product of Disney, and like as we talked about with Steamboat Willie, the reason that company gets to be where it is because they were smart about technical innovation. Everything from using the first cartoon to successfully use sound to distributing the first CG animated film. And the fact that they're getting left behind so dramatically kind of shows me that they don't fully know what to do with animation studio in the 2020s. So, I will review Wish and Migration at some point. I don't know I feel like at some point. Anyway, that's just my rant on them. They can do better, maybe. All right. The other awards thing, and this is the most important awards thing. Robert Downey Jr. won an award and mentioned Mystery Science Theater. Now, obviously, I am on every Mystery Science Theater Facebook group that matters but everyone was freaking out that first off, when Jim Carrey was like, I'm retiring, and there's all these episodes of Mystery Science Theater I got to catch up on. That, people love that. But this was next level, that he said he always has a running commentary like a Mystery Science Theater in his head. I have that too, bro. I get it. But that was amazing. I think Mystery Science Theater needed the love after the Kickstarter shit the bed. So, congrats to Robert Downey Jr. Jr. on winning. I would like you to maybe show up on a Mystery Science Theater to get some of that attention that you get so much. But it was cool of him to reference the show. I guess he watched it back in the day. That's very cool of him. I mean, it makes sense. He's from a long line of cool people. But that was a big moment, for any Misty to have the biggest movie star in the world mention Mystery Science Theater. He won an award for Oppenheimer or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? So let's move on to box office. So Soul was a big bomb coming back into theaters. In fact, it opened at number 20th with a great per screen average of 400. Not great. It's really bad. Really, really bad. I don't know how to. Yeah, look, I think part of the problem with Soul. I mean, it got beaten by a film, All the Strangers, which I've seen, and it was great. And I shot a review; it'll be out at some point. Beat it, and it was in Soul was in 1,350 theaters. All the Strangers was in 120 theaters and outgrossed it and had 4,700 per screen, whereas Soul had 400. So Soul fucked up. I think part of it is, and like what I'm saying is, with Soul is I think of the three that are getting re-released, it's the least popular. I think people were like over that movie by the time it won its Oscars. I could tell people were like not dig. Well, like can we stop talking about this movie forever? It did not seem like people wanted it. Nathaniel Foga said, glad to know Doolittle was Downey's only recent fluke of the 2020s. That's a good, what? That is a good point, Nathaniel Foga from Baltimore. That is a good point. He really hasn't fucked up a lot in the 2020s. That was his only real fuck up. And that, I believe, is one of the higher grossing films of 2020. No context needed in that statement. But cheers to you, Nathaniel. I think it's like in the top 10. I'm fairly certain. Cheers to you. Sorry, I need an extra sip. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, that was pretty dramatic. But I never thought it was gonna do super well. I'm a little surprised how bad it flummoxed there. I'm also on. It didn't really get a lot of promotion, but I will, like Ryan Welch was saying, but I will also say that I'm on a bunch of different Regal Unlimited groups both in Facebook and other things. And a lot of them were posting about it, but a few of them were posting about, like, more so than other movies. They usually post about every movie that comes out, but they were posting more about Soul than I was surprised, actually, because these aren't animation people. But they're also posting about how, like, they were having trouble finding show times and movies to play it, and certain of their local Regals weren't playing it. So I do think maybe people are having a hard time finding it, and it seems like there's more buzz. I heard more buzz about it when it flopped than I did, like, the Friday before it came out. So I think maybe this was just a one they had to contractually do or something, or they're like, well, let's make Pete Docter happy because he's the head of it. I expect better for Turning Red and Luca, to be honest with you, but we'll see. It was just interesting how bad that did. The other ones, I will say, it was a surprise to a lot of people how well Mean Girls did, and had a huge per screen average actually at 8,000, which is really good. The only one that beat it, I went through the box office, and this film called Insala a Boy, which is only in one theater, made $6,000. So that was their per screen. I'm maybe at one showing, which I guess is what that means. So it would have actually been, if it was just per screen averages, that movie would have been number 2, beating The Beekeeper. But it's not about the per screen average; it's about the total gross. And but Mean Girls was number 1 at 33 million. I think that's expected, but the weird advertising where isn't it a musical, all that stuff was stupid. I didn't hear the greatest things about it, but I still hear people confuse, like, if it's a remake or something. But anyway, and then Beekeeper made 18, which is pretty good for a Jason Statham movie. And Book of Clarence didn't do so good, opening at 9. But we are seeing a lot of the Oscar things get really good per screen averages, just kind of going out, and Anyone But You keeps holding steady. And Godzilla -1 is at 50 million, which means it's made 50 million everywhere else to 100 million, which is amazing. I'm surprised they're not announcing another Godzilla movie, but we'll see. All right, moving on. Let's talk about, where are we? The Exorcist. Holy crap, this reboot has fallen the fuck apart, which is kind of expected. So basically, if you're unaware, Universal was super excited to reboot The Exorcist, despite that it wasn't really it was more of a big movie, less of a big franchise, but they invested a lot. Now, we've talked about the 400 million thing, what it actually means, and I'll just go over it quickly, because I actually learned another thing about that recently, which makes it even more like not what it is. The 400 million number is not, they did not pay 400 million for the rights for The Exorcist. They did pay a lot, but 400 million was the rights, the cost of each of the 3 movies, and natural raises for each of the actors, as well as apparently theme park rights were in that too, which was extra money. So, like, how much each movie got of that 400, and with the theme park rights and with other rights and stuff, who the fuck knows? But basically, no. Universal did not spend 400 million. Universal signed up like a fully deal that at the end, after they'd done everything, they would have spent 400 million. So that is basically what happened. We don't need to go over that again. It lost the director of the first Exorcist film, Exorcist Believer, David Gordon Green, who had done the trilogy of the Halloween movies. Supposedly, and I've heard this on many podcasts, so I will mention it because I guess I figured it out. But the shoot was really, really bad. It was like a tremendously bad shoot. Supposedly Ellen Bernstein needed to get like surgery, and she, like, if you saw the movie, you knew she suddenly like wasn't in the movie anymore. Like, she wasn't even in it that much, and you kind of probably expected her to be in the movie a lot more than she was, and then she suddenly wasn't in the movie that much, apparently because, like, they did spend a lot of money for her, but because she needed surgery, they had to reduce her screen time. Supposedly almost everyone's mentioned that there was some sort of a mental breakdown by one of the leads. I don't know who that is, and no one seems to want to reveal it. However, there was, towards the end of 2022, Leslie Odom Jr. did take a significant break, which was publicized, so many people believe it is him. I'm not the first one to say that. Apparently, like, David Gordon Green had a really rough shoot, losing the two people who, were on all the advertising, which was Leslie Odom Jr. and Ellen Bernstein, at separate points. And apparently, like, whatever happened that day with Leslie Odom Jr. was pretty bad, but no one is either willing to say or wants to say, or I don't think they should. But anyway, it sounds like it was a rough fucking shoot, and it had been known for a long time David Gordon Green wanted to bounce. And he did, and he's going to go do something else. So apparently Universal is trying to figure out what to do, because they do. The one thing that is true of that thing is they have to release every movie. All three movies theatrically. So they have to figure out what they want to do for 2. I will get to you, Sinner, I'm sorry. And the problem with... The thing is, though, I will say, the end of 1 had a really great ending that movie did not earn. But that I was like, man, if you had written a good script with this ending, that would have been so good. And I actually really liked the ending. I was like, but you did not build to that. It is not good the way you did that. But that's a banger ending. Like, if someone said, like, that was really good, like that ending though, like that could you could be tricked into thinking this is a good movie. It's not, but like if someone told me it was because of that ending, I was like, I see where you're coming from, because that was good. That was a good ending, but it didn't. Writing wise, it wasn't, because they didn't build to it. So I was kind of curious to see what they would actually sort of do with it, like with that ending. But I don't know who's going to take a hold of it. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to use that cast again, because that did not work out. We'll see. But it's really kind of a falling apart with David Gordon Green leaving, and the studio saying they're going to sort of change directions, and no one's sure like what they're going to do with the cast and everything like that. To my understanding, they all signed up for 3 movies, but they might just be like, let's just throw that out. I don't think we need this anymore. I don't want to do that. Anyway, Cineram says, hey, David Gordon Green, you don't scare me. Nice. I mean, I guess he doesn't anymore, because it doesn't sound like he's doing any more horror movies. So, I mean, he made 2 of the Halloweens were good. The first and the third, I would say. I was fine with the second one, but they were okay. I mean, it was better than The Exorcist. They worked, but I can say this: every one of his Halloweens worked better than that Exorcist Believer, which, yeah, that was not. It's not good. Cheers to you, Syndrome. Thank you very much for your generosity. All right. But it really, I mean, I think it's not so much that the 400 million, that whole thing is, it's like that they had so high expectations. They're like, hey, we did Halloween, but I didn't get, it's like, why not Friday the 13th? Why didn't you spend it on Friday the 13th? I don't know. I think, well, here's the thing, is nobody does agree on that Halloween trilogy. I at least think the third one, it's not good, but it's at least interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I would still, I would rewatch 3. I would not rewatch 2. And 1, I'm like, 3 is just more fun to talk about. That's the problem. Halloween Ends is like, that could have been something interesting, but that didn't work out either, to be honest with you. But did it work better than Believer? Yeah, it did. I think I could stand by that. I don't think anyone's going to fight me on that. Anyway, let's talk about this really interesting. So there's this lady. As people, I almost want to do that thing that people do on TikTok. Who doesn't, like, Ray William Johnson does it, but I've seen other people do it. Or like, there's this lady, let's call her Sally or something like that. But I'm not going to do that. So there is this Latin American woman called Geraldine Fernandez, who has been saying she worked on The Boy and the Heron. She says she personally drew 25,000 frames of the film on her own in Colombia, and that Miyazaki knew her name, calls herself an illustrator, and apparently never actually shows any pictures of The Boy and the Heron. Wow. And apparently 25,000, a couple people mentioned, that'd be like a significant, like 30 minutes, basically. It'd be like 30 minutes of the movie. Like this one woman in Colombia, apparently, according to her thing, animated 25,000, like 30 minutes of this film by herself. So, you know, I find it pretty hilarious because I don't know. There are parts of this that are funny, and I could say like, you know, oh, I worked on Boy and the Heron too, and it was so cool, and we, you know, had free ice cream, and then Haya would come in skateboard, you know, kick Goro in the balls and laugh at him, and then we just, you know, chill and eat pizza, and he'd be like, we'll just like do a couple drawings and let's like go home, like whatever. What are they gonna do? Did they direct Totoro? I did. What are they gonna do? But it, I mean, I guess we can't prove that she's wrong, other than that I totally worked on it too. Now, I was gonna do this bit, but I don't know if it's not funny, to be honest. But it's like that. I don't know it. And Miyazaki would always be like, "Man, NFTs, bro, that's the future." Am I right? But so this is basically this person who's doing a grift, unlike what I'm saying, which is totally true. That she did so much of this, and apparently she basically makes these planner things, which is something I always see on TikTok. Like, oh, if you spend like 2 seconds on a planner, someone will buy a digital planner, even though I've never seen anyone use a digital planner or pay for one. Maybe they are and they're not telling me, and they're so planned out. But the thing that stinks about this, and as much as we're joking about it, and that this lady who was totally there, and it was just like her and Miyazaki, and he knew her name. He'd say her name all the time. I was like, it's weird. You keep just saying her name constantly. I like that that's part of it. He knows her name. Like, but you worked on the movie. If you worked on the movie and animated 30 minutes of it, you know, obviously he would know your name. Like I'm confused why you need to bring that up. Like that seems like a major plot hole. If someone's like, I totally know Ethan Hawke, you know, he knows my name. And you're like, well, yeah, what? You said you know him. I thought he would know your name. What are we talking about? No, Ray William Johnson is still around. He still makes like TikToks now and stuff. But I don't know. That part of it is pretty funny. She's just like, but okay. So the problem with it is there are actually a lot of Latin American women who, for real, work in anime. I keep seeing, and are sort of, you know, trying to get into the industry. And now this lady's like making all these ridiculous claims, and now if someone else does, and because I hadn't heard this about Latin American women working in anime, you're instantly, you know, you'll be reminded of this shitty story. So that in that way, it's actually really dangerous, her stupid grift, and she's added it to her like LinkedIn and stuff. I hope she you know, takes this back, because I don't want it to hurt people who are like actually working to be animators and work on actual productions and things like that. That actually really stinks, and I think that fucking bugs me, to be honest with you. Like that's really horrible. But it is fun to make fun of her because this is really stupid. So you know, I will say every day, I don't know. I don't know. I just think, sorry, I mean, I do sort of just want to make fun of her because it's a little like, I don't know. It sort of annoys me, but it's so stupid. I hate these dumb grifts that people do, and they're like, oh, if you do this, you'll be successful, and all this stuff. Like, I really hate how people manipulate people online. It's really upsetting. But it's also just like, where does she think she's gonna go with this? Like, it's pretty easy thing to get caught with. I don't know. In fact, like, how much, like, wouldn't you make it a little more believable? Like, you know, I did in-betweens for a week, and it was cool. And then, I went home, and he's kind of cranky. He's always like, still complains about Takahata all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds real. But instead, she's like, I did most of the movie by myself. The boy and, the guy. It wasn't the boy and the pig plane guy. This is the boy and the pig plane guy. That's what it is. And I did it all. I did all the things. I had all the ideas. He didn't really do much. I don't know. He was like, he'd come in and say, hi-yo, and I'd be like, hey, how are you doing? No, I just don't think it, I think it's upsetting ultimately. But, we'll see. I hope. It seems like a lot of it's getting taken down. It seems like most people are figuring it out. So, next up, Pedro Pascal is a very busy guy, and he's so busy, in fact, this is not even a joke, it is affecting multiple productions, and he actually had to leave one, which was Zach Krieger's Weapons, which he was casted. He's had to leave because Fantastic Four, which was not fully announced, but we're all just like, yeah, he's cast. Oh, Austin, where are you in Mario Kart? What place are you? But yeah, apparently Fantastic Four has been moved back. Supposedly, Fantastic Four will not move its date because they really don't want to. Also because they pretty much have to stay in summer because he's also in the Mandalorian movie that year as well. So it's going to be a interesting shoot with these things because it's very much based on his availability. And he just wrapped, I think he had wrapped before Gladiator 2, which just wrapped recently. But so Fantastic Four has been pushed back. He's had to leave Weapons. Supposedly he has a open availability after he shoots Last of Us Season 2, which he's not in as much. But we're also hearing that he could be in Ari Aster's film Edmonton between those, which I was like, can this guy just like not work maybe? But I do find it interesting. Oh, congrats to Santa Foga. But so I do find it interesting, but it's going to be a very tight schedule for him because they almost have to make this to get that May release date, which they very much do not want to move for. So I don't know. He's just Weapons is going to have to recast. Like he's just so busy. It's affected like multiple big projects because he's involved in only big studio priority things because he's like a movie star, but not basically. So I don't know. That's basically the deal with that. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, I think, but maybe wasn't so much. But 2025 is going to be a big year theatrically for him. I guess is Last of Us Season 2 coming out in 2024 or 2025? We could actually have Last of Us, Fantastic Four, and Mandalorian and Grogu all in the same year. So 2025 is going to be like one of those where you're like, whoa, what is going on? Like this guy's everywhere. 2025 is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of big things in 2025. I mean, he is a star. It is going to be interesting what happens with him. I heard this on a podcast. Richard Rushfield said it on the Ankler, and it kind of, so basically, we talked about the Paramount Warner sale a little bit and how Warner's did openly meet with Paramount. And Paramount has basically not denied that they are definitely selling. Like this is like, it's really out there that they are. Typically a company at this point would have said, we're not, we're just, we're not, we just had lunch with Warner's or whatever. And they've basically been like, no, we're not going to actually say anything. We're not going to deny this whatsoever. So Richard Rushfield on his podcast recently put out because there's all these questions on Paramount, Warner's, and if Disney will buy Apple. And he says probably by the end of the year or soon, we're going to hear about how Netflix is going to buy Paramount, Comcast is going to buy Warner's, and Disney is going to be bought by Apple. That is his prediction right now. I don't disagree. I think it makes more sense for Warner's and Paramount to be bought by separate people than to have them combine and become a huge thing. Although I think that would have been an interesting It's like it sort of would have given us a less thing, but maybe it would have given us an extra thing at the same time as well, because then, we're talking about Netflix, Comcast, and Apple. Would that then make the Paramount Warner's thing the other big, huge company instead of being two sort of smaller companies? I don't know, but that's something to think about. All right, let's talk about Ted. So there's a Ted show. It's on Peacock. I think it came out last weekend, and has been sort of blowing up the internet. There's been clips of it everywhere. It looks good. I haven't watched that. Oh, hey, Austin says, back. I lost Mario Kart a lot. I have news. I'm going to buy Tubi. I'm coming for Tommy. You're going to buy. You can't buy Tubi. Tubi's free. Tubi is owned by everyone. Austin, you can't. No one can buy Tubi. Tubi's like buying air. You can't really buy it. How could you? How could you? Why would you buy Tubi? I mean, it wouldn't be owned by Fox, which would be great. But other than that, anyway, all right. Cheers to you, Austin. Cheers to you. Thank you for the energy. This is... Who is this Call of Duty guy? What the fuck? Anyway. So, Ted has been blowing up, and and I said this on Twitter, which people seem to like. People seem to like it. Oh, that's a fucking ad. I guess was everyone's YouTube, like my YouTube was running really, really slow, and I had to turn off ad blocker, and now I'm getting a lot more ads. But to be or not to be, that is the question. They do that in B movie. One guy says to be or not to be. And then Jason Statham does the violence. Anyway, so Ted has came out on Peacock, is doing Super Bowl online, and Jason Statham. No, Seth MacFarlane has been. It stars Jason Statham, the Ted movie, not the Beekeeper, which I saw. It was pretty fun. But Ted, it wasn't a Ted ad. Ted has been blowing up. I think so. What I said in this tweet was basically that Seth MacFarlane has not actually written on American Dad or Family Guy in a while, actually. I think he said, I heard in one interview, it seemed like he's loose on the date, but he might have just forgotten. I don't think he's lying, or that's not what I mean by that. But he seems to be loose on the date. He just says when he when he started work on Ted the movie, he stopped writing, being in the writer's room and stuff, and he has actual showrunners. He's not super involved. He just does the voices. And he said there's writers he hasn't even met. He's pretty open about it, like in public interviews and stuff. He's not, this isn't stuff like that. So I think maybe because this is his first thing he's written in a while, we're kind of seeing some of that fun Seth MacFarlane stuff that we haven't seen since, early Family Guy. Like I do think he's a good writer. I do, and when he's actually written stuff, there's usually a few jokes, and I'm not surprised that he's fully back, since I know he did The Orville was just his, and the movies were just his, but this is the first real comedy show that's been his since when he was more involved in those other shows. But Sinram says, you don't pay for YouTube Premium. Well worth it for me. Well, I do not actually. Maybe I should. But maybe I should. Maybe I should. Good point, Sinram. Cheers to you. I hope you enjoyed the YouTube Premium. But I know, with The Orville, he was given sort of carte blanche because they didn't make a lot of episodes. Because I think it was just him writing it, I've heard. I am curious about this TED show, but when I heard about it... Oh, and this is another thing I heard in an interview today, which I didn't know. But, I'll just say it. He admitted that, so he signed a deal with Universal. He's always sort of had an interesting relationship with Universal because they did the Ted movies, because Fox turned it down, which Fox has never loved that they did that, and they shouldn't. That's a fucking stupid ass move. But, I didn't know Dana Gould was a writer on Ted. Oh, cool. Man, that's cool. But apparently when he signed the deal with Universal was like, could you make a TED show? And so I'm paraphrasing Seth MacFarlane here. He said that, if you will give me the budget, to make the CGI bear and give me the money to make a TED show, sure. If you back it up. And he said, to their credit, they did. And so he made a TED show, basically. That's because he wasn't thinking about doing anything with the character, and apparently they wanted him to do it when he signed this deal, and he was like, okay, I'll make, I'm Seth MacFarlane, I can make a hit and stuff. I do know, I think it might be leverage because I know he's wanted to make, and I think I talked about this forever ago, and if you don't remember, it's okay. He wanted to make like a World War II epic thing, and this might be just so he can get some leverage, so you can be like, hey, if you want more Teds, I gotta make my other thing I want to do, and maybe that was like part of the agreement or something he's just doing with an idea he came up with to let him do that. I don't know, but he did admit that like this was not an idea he came up with. This was a thing Universal executives came up with, which was interesting. He's very kind of open. I've noticed like the animation people recently that like you normally like don't respect, like Illumination, Seth MacFarlane, they have been the ones who are way cooler and open in interviews than you'd ever expect. It's kind of remarkable actually, but it is interesting. I do think like because he's such a writer. I know TuneJ723 says Seth wrote half the episodes of Orville. I don't think he might, whoever's credited doesn't necessarily mean they didn't write on it. But like with Family Guy and American Dad, like he gives suggestions, but from most of what I could find, he does not make a contribution big enough to actually be considered a writer, whereas the other ones he would, I guess. I'll be 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Everything's okay. Sorry. Okay, we're okay. Everything's okay. All right. I'll just answer the super chat. Austin said, do you remember Seth hosting the Oscars? Sorry, do you remember Seth hosting the Oscars sing about song about boobs and puppet version of Flight? Okay, so first off, cheers to you, Austin, for bringing that up. I do remember I watched that Oscars. One thing I will bring up that the thing with running to things. I'm like, oh boy. He did one joke that I still think about, and I've probably brought up in something on the multiple things I've been on. Is that he did this thing. He's like the Von Trapp family singers, and then like it keeps like they're not coming out. He goes, the family Von Trapp. He goes, the family singers, and then a guy in a Nazi uniform walks out and goes, "Sir, they're gone." And then, like the music plays. I'm sorry. I know that's a dumb Family Guy Seth MacFarlane joke, but we watched Sound of Music a lot as a kid, and I was like, that's great. I loved it. I don't know. That's what I think of how I was laughing. Anyway, sorry about the interruption. Everything's okay. It was just, don't worry about it. All right, that's basically it. All right, moving on. Man, I still think about that joke. That's funny. No, people really hated it, and the Oscars had a lot of faith in it. I didn't think the boobs thing was that bad. It seemed like Jennifer Lawrence was like pretty funny in it. I don't know. Wait, that joke was in the Family Guy pilot? Fuck. It's still funny. It's funny at the Oscars. I don't care. I didn't think it was as bad as people suggested it was. I do think the best of the 2010 hosts, and I'm not a big Ellen fan, I would actually say is her, just because she was good at getting the right tone of what people wanted from that. So I do actually I don't know. I think like the other thing with him is like he's always button pushing and stuff like that, and I sort of think it's like you knew what you were getting into. You know, it's like I don't know. I knew what he was, so it's like whatever. Okay. So the MCU Netflix things are now considered canon because they're on a certain thing on Disney Plus, and everyone went, that means they're canon. And I was like, okay. I do like Billy Crystal, but he was only, I don't think he did a 2010s one. Did he? I don't think he did. He did a 2000. He did a bunch of. He was obviously better, but I just mean of the 2010s. Just to clarify, Ellen is not better than Billy Crystal in any means. But because the Netflix things were on a certain thing on Disney Plus, everyone said they're canon. I didn't look into it more, so I'm like, yeah, sure. Supposedly they are sort of, when they reevaluated Daredevil, considering, because if you didn't know, sorry to catch you up, they basically had Daredevil. They had 6 episodes shot. Over the strike, they rewatched them, hated them, and were like, we're going to dramatically change all this crap. And when they decided to dramatically change all this crap, they also went, you know what? The Netflix stuff is canon, is part of it. Supposedly another part of this is they wanted, they basically wanted, sorry, when they, I guess they wanted it to be more like dark and stuff like this. Oh, sorry. The main reason is because the thing with Hulu is is going to be integrated into the Disney Plus app, and they sort of want something that can be on the more Disney Plus side that kind of transition more into the Hulu part. So if you're in a country that has Star, this means virtually nothing to you because you already have that. But supposedly that was also part of the reasoning. So, and yeah, so that's what happened with that. So another thing I think that's worth. Billy did what? Oh, he did come back in the 2010s. Okay, well, obviously Billy Crystal was better. Sorry. Where are we going with this? Well, no, everything's canon, but I think this is part of the main MCU because Daredevil's was in No Way Home, and he was in She-Hulk. Also, we learned Tatiana Maslany said, was it her? Anyway, she said that there probably won't be a season 2, which I would say kind of stinks. I sort of liked that show, but whatever. So we learned that there's going to be Sundance. Sundance did this interesting thing where they pulled people who were going to be, like press people who are going to be at Sundance, and asked them what they thought the best movie that premiered at Sundance. And the thing with this list, and number 1 was Whiplash, which I think because more of the people who go to Sundance now are younger. I know Whiplash is a bigger film for people who are younger than me. I actually like Whiplash a lot. I don't think I like any Damien Chazelle film as much as I like Whiplash. Not a lot of bangers post that, I gotta say. I think maybe First Man out of them. I'm not a big La La Land person, and Jesus, what was the one with the Margot Robbie and all that? Babylon? Yeesh. That was a mess. I said the right actress. Cool, look at me. But so one of the things with this, number 1 was Whiplash, number 2 is Reservoir Dogs. Number 3 is Get Out. And I'm like, okay, maybe Get Out premiered at the Sundance Film Festival as like a publicity thing. But that's not like what Sundance is. It just felt like people were like, hey, Get Out's great. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But like, I just didn't think it sent the right message. It's not like, anyway, people have other issues with this list. Like they had Little Miss Sunshine at 4, Memento at 5, Sex, Lies, and Videotape at 6. Richard Linklater had 7 and 8 with Before Sunrise at 7 and Boyhood at 8 and Y Tu Mama Tambien at 9 and Blood Simple at 10. I have no problem with a lot of them. Get Out, I think, shouldn't really be in here. Reservoir Dogs is an obvious one because that's how people learned about Sundance. But the major omission, and one people always think of with an independent film, is Clerks. Like, why wasn't... I think that's been the one people have objected to most. Is like, why wasn't Clerks on here despite what Kevin Smith is now, and how people might feel about him. That is one of the ultimate independent films, as well as I think, like, I don't know if Hoop Dreams did, but I would also say, where's El Mariachi? Did El Mariachi not premiere at Sundance? Like, I would like to know what's going on there. Like, what's the, was El Mariachi not eligible? But it's like Reservoir Dogs, absolutely, because that was like, when I heard about Sundance, it was because Reservoir Dogs played there. And I think most people, and also, like, I think documentaries should be included. A lot of people are talking about there's no, like, queer directors or not a lot of directors of color. I think it's all, like, mostly, Jordan Peele and Alfonso Cuarón. It's like, yeah, Ichimama Tabien, sure, and Blood Simple, absolutely, but it's also like, it's the 40th anniversary of Sundance. I would have liked them to not just focus on this, a lot of, not too many 80s, only 2 80s films, like, how many 2000s films? I don't know. It's just weird, and there should be a documentary on there. There should be more foreign stuff. Like, it just, I think people were a little, like, not happy about it. Whiplash does surprise people, but I have known for a long time Whiplash is a bigger film for people younger. Like, Whiplash is going to be in, like, the top, like, movies of all time. You're going to see that more and more as the time goes on. But, like, Boys Don't Cry. That is a good point, Jordan Stolafolo. That is a good point, actually. Cinerama asked if Roger and Me was a Sundance film. I'm not sure. And I also thought, like, Hoop Dreams was a big 90s one. I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about a lot of them. I've never been to Sundance. I think it's I can't really do that. I'm sorry. But, like, Memento is fine. Like, that's totally understandable. Like, certain ones. But it's just, like, Sundance is a lot more than what this top 10, I don't think, was a good top 10. And I think Clerks Omission and El Mariachi, because those are 2 films when I think of what an independent film is and what Sundance represents, those should be 2 of them. Also, like, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which was written in the Sundance Labs. There's all sorts of stuff I would have included. I don't know. I think maybe they shouldn't have cut it off at 10. I would have also liked, if anyone's writing or doing lists, how about this? This is one I would like to see, actually. What are the 10 best Sundance films before Reservoir Dogs? Before the independent film boom hit? Like, what are those? Actually, do it by decade. Do 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I would be interested in. That I would love to hear, especially the 80s one, because there's probably some of those I don't even know that were big deals at the time that are now. Like, was Jim Jarmusch in there? Like, that's, I think that would be interesting. So I didn't think people objected to this, but my main problem is more Get Out, because that's a studio movie that just premiered there for press. Like, that's not, I understand Sundance has become that, but I'm like, let's not do that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I would like a better representation. I hope they do a better representation of the festival, because I think that was not a good one. Okay, in other news, Top Gun 3 is in the works. Now, there's kind of a funny thing about this. Now, they've gotten one of the original writers, Ehren Kruger, not related to Freddy Krueger, supposedly. Miles Teller is back, Tom Cruise, and Glenn Powell. My thing with this is, for so long, they're trying to make Top Gun 2. Like, forever. That was the big thing with Top Gun Maverick. Like, they finally made Top Gun 2. Like, nobody thought that would ever happen. That's why they paid for Days of Thunder. So Top Gun 2 maybe would happen. Which, didn't Days of Thunder come out in, like, 1990? And then Maverick came out in 2022? Was it 2022? Like, holy shit. Like, that took forever. And they're like, we're totally going to make a third one. I'm like, are you for real? Like, you guys think you're making a sequel to Maverick like this quickly? Like, I remember when I was in elementary school and people talked about how there isn't a sequel to Top Gun, but there's a sequel to the video game of Top Gun, and how silly that was. Like, that's how long it's like in the 90s. Like, I don't understand. It's just like if I was Paramount and I was like, hey, we signed the deals, I would be like, do you guys, like, how long it took to get, like, the last, like, I don't I don't think you fully grasp. Like we are not we are not getting Top Gun 3. Like I don't know. Maybe he did that because Paramount does get a little like shaky. Like they got weird with Abrams when Abrams like wasn't. J.J. Abrams is a fucking mess. But it might have been something like that. But it is interesting what that they think they this will get done in a reasonable timeline after he signed a deal with Warner's. I think it might just be to show his deal with it. I also saw a weird Tom Cruise thing with people saying he left Paramount because they threatened to do a Mission Impossible show. He does have a deal to stop a show from happening, which might lapse with the supposed last movie, but I don't think that's why he would have left. There's no real reporting on that, but I do know he has stopped another show from happening while his franchise is running, even though it's originally obviously a TV show. They actually did a second version about 5-6 years before Tom Cruise came in. Anyway, Cineram said, is it Erin Kruger wrote Reindeer Games, Skeleton Key, and Arlington Road, and Scream 3. I don't think this is the endorsement you think it is, Cineram, but I haven't seen Arlington Road in a long time. I remember it was good, and it's directed by the guy who did Pearl Jam's Jeremy, Mark Pellington, I believe. Reindeer Games I did see recently, and I wouldn't. Anyway, cheers to you, Cineram. Thank you for your generosity and for the super chat. And Nathaniel Focus said, which will come out first, Tron 3 or Top Gun 3? I don't. That's like. I don't. I mean, I guess Tron 3 is gonna film soon, but that's like asking me like. Oh, I like. Cineram said I didn't say that was an endorsement. I'm saying manage your expectations. Okay, I apologize, Cineram. I like that. He did have other screenwriters. Christopher McQuarrie was brought in, and I'm sure he'll be brought in if they do it again. Sorry to say, but Tron 3 or Top Gun. Wow, that is a real pickle. I gotta say that I think Tron 3 is further along. I'm surprised they didn't do a Disney Plus Tron 3 because that just seems like a pretty easy one since they do have, in all honesty, they do have money in Tron because they do have rides with Tron shit on it. So it's actually like financially and brand wise, it makes more sense. Like if you don't have a release date to do a Tron Disney Plus thing. So you know what? I'm going to go with Tron 3. I'm really curious how that shakes out. That was a very interesting super chat. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Focus. That you got me there. All right. Okay, we're kind of running late, so I'm gonna do. Sorry, I like hanging with you guys. All right, let's talk about Fast and Furious 11. Apparently, this was reported on by Jeff Snyder, and he's sort of insinuated some things with it since then. But Fast and Furious 11 is going to apparently have less budget at just $200 million. I know, guys, how will they do it? Even though the last one, Fast 10, ended on a cliffhanger, supposedly it wants to go back to basics, which I said means they're going to steal DVD players again. That's right. If you didn't know, first Fast and Furious was for them getting DVD players. I believe DVD VHS combos, which was my... I'm like, wow. But I think apparently it is going to try to go back to basics. And supposedly the rumor is, even though they have to deal with Jason Momoa, who's doing like a hugely expensive film thing in Fast 10, apparently one of the plans is like they kill off Momoa early on in the movie, and then they have a different villain that's like cheaper and stuff like that. No one sure who it will be. But that's the rumor. I still think they should have to... Because would DVD players... Hear me out on this. Would DVD players cost more because of... like, if you sold them on eBay. Like, if our DVD players... If you get 2000s DVD players, never been used, would that be more now? Maybe that could be it. It's like they've gone full circle. Now the DVD players are vintage. I don't know. All right. I'm just going to do trailers and then take a break, but I'm going to answer this. Will Vin... Nice, Austin. Will Vin's friends, the Street Sharks, be in the film? That has not... Look, the rumors about the Street Sharks being in Fast and Furious 11 are unconfirmed. Okay? I don't want to get into that right now. Those rumors are everywhere. And everyone knows... Look, if they made... Mutant Mayhem was good. And what if Mutant Mayhem gets an Oscar nomination? Should Vin bring back the Street Sharks and voice one, if not all, of the Street Sharks? I don't know. Cheers to you. Nice one, Austin. Nice. All right, my one thing with trailers is I did not actually get to watch the Spaceman trailer, and I'm realizing this right now. So that was cool of me. Not really. All right, so the first one is is it Abigail? Problem is, I am not good at spelling. Abigail trailer? Okay, Abigail? No. Is that it? The young girl? No. Ballerina. Okay. Ballerina horror movie? Is it The Ballerina? No. What the fuck is it then? Okay, I don't know what it is. Whatever. Okay, so there's this movie. Was it? Fuck, what is it called? Oh, well, anyway, I'll just describe it. It's been a long day. Leave me alone. I actually didn't see this online. I saw it in the theaters last night. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez, when I saw The Beekeeper. So that was cool. I was like, oh, I wanted to see this trailer. So it's basically these guys, they're told like, oh, you got to kidnap this like little girl. She's like 7 and she goes to ballet and then they bring her home and you just got to watch her and we're going to get ransom for 24 hours. And then it turns out she's not just a little girl ballerina. She's a vampire and they're all stuck in the house and they have to defend themselves against this vampire lady girl. And one of them is the girl from Freaky and the other one is the lady from this is the movie crap. This is the movie crap ever. This is the movie crap ever. Definitely. Sorry, the girl who they fired from Scream and stuff. This is by the guys who did the last 2 Scream movies. Radio Silence. I'm not the biggest fan, but this is an amazing concept where it's like they think they're just dealing with a little girl, but she's a little girl ballerina vampire. Looks like it's Abigail. It's Abigail. Why was fucking stupid ass Google fucking me up? Whatever. It looks amazing. It looks like a lot of fun. I was like laughing in the theater. I was like, this is going to be great. So that was an amazing trailer, I gotta say. Then we have Orion and the Dark. That is coming out. That is the Charlie Kaufman written DreamWorks movie, right? That's coming out on Netflix. That sounds like a Mad Libs, but apparently is real. And it's coming out on Netflix on February 2nd. I like where it's going. It feels like an odd, interesting kids film. Reminds me sort of Rise of the Guardians, that kind of a tone. I'm curious what Charlie Kaufman will do with a kids film, but I liked it. It was a cool trailer. Also, Masters Universe Revolution. It seems to focus more on He-Man on this trailer than we did from the previous season, so I'm kind of curious about that. I did like the last season, so I think this will be I think it'll be interesting. So this is the trailer I want to talk about the most. I'm going to be real honest with you. There's this thing called This Is Me Now, the film from Jennifer Lopez. This trailer is fucking crazy. People tell me it's a visual album. I think maybe we call movies visual albums now. This is crazy. She's like talking about sex addiction and stuff. And you see her therapist, and her therapist is Fat Joe, who people just call crack all the time. I'm not sure the deal with that. By the way, Fat Joe, good verse on the AZ album that just came out. I forget what album it was. Anyway, I listened to the album the other day. It was great, and I like the song. But yeah, he turns around, and it's like Fat Joe which I think they did a song together, right? That sounds like a thing that happened. And then you see all this crazy special effects, her marrying all these dudes and having sex with them and stuff, this crazy robot heart, and then, she's like, goes around all this CG, she's riding on a motorcycle, Neil deGrasse Tyson is in it apparently, Ben Affleck apparently shows up. This movie looks amazing. If you're going to have Bezos money, and, you could do what her husband did and make Air, and then me and my wife laugh about the monologue because that monologue was fucking dumb. But I know everyone's like, that monologue's so powerful. I'm like, are you for real? Like, that's not a real thing that happened. Like, I understand this is a movie, but like, the suspension of disbelief here is just like, you push this way too far. You don't just describe Michael Jordan. Anyway, whatever. But like, if you're going to use Bezos money, you got it. Like, he's just going to stupid space. Like, you know what? I don't get to go to space. I don't care if he goes to space. I want to see a ridiculous movie that I can have possibly 3 beers, I'm just saying, and laugh with my wife at and have a fun time. And you know what? I want a crazy, excessive Jennifer Lopez movie. That's what I want in my life, where Fat Joe's her therapist. So he would be a terrible therapist. If you ever heard him give interviews, he is so gossipy. He would be the worst therapist in the world. That's part of why I thought it was funny. Him and Dame Dash are having beef right now, and that sounds like the worst beef in the world because neither of them will ever stop. Look, guys, I like rap music, it's just this. Look, there are no other trailers as far as I'm concerned. This is me now. The film, the trailer is the greatest thing ever. I'm totally going to review this. I'm so excited. It's like around Valentine's Day. In fact, why call it Valentine's Day? We should just call it the This Is Me Now Day or something. Tommy Tooby is jealous of the shit that's going to drop on Amazon Prime. Like, this looks so insane. Like, this looks like an insane person movie, but in the best way. Like, Madonna wanted to make a movie about her life. She should be jealous that Jennifer Lopez one-upped her with the excessive nonsense that this looks like it is. And I'm not like, I know people recently got mad at critics for reviewing The Beekeeper and saying this was like the perfect bad movie. And people are like, why can't you describe it differently? Like, doesn't mean it's like, you have to shit on it at the same time. Like, that doesn't mean they don't like it. They're just like, I'm not saying I think this is going to be bad. I think this is going to be the most amazing thing ever. Like, what? Oh my God. The true auteur of our time. I just want Neil deGrasse Tyson to explain that Jennifer Lopez like shouldn't get fooled by the rocks that she got. Oh my God, you're right. Madam Web is coming out that same time. Oh my God, Valentine's Day is going to be epic. It's an epic movie. Man, why are they having the Oscars after this? People are going to be like, why are we even talking about these movies when Madam Web and This Is Me Now came out? I'm sort of not joking. In fact, I'm not. All right. I don't think anybody died anywhere this week, so I'm going to take a break. Sorry. Though they did forget Ryan O'Neal in the Emmy thing. I thought that was not cool. Sorry, I'm a little goofy today. It's been a long, stupid, crazy day, I gotta say. So, people will lose their virginity to Madam Web. Sad. I hope not. Oh my God. Please don't do that. Please don't. Pick a better movie than Madam Web. You don't want that story at parties when you're in your 30s. You don't want that. Do it like you should do it with Godzilla -1, baby. Right as the end fight. Come on. It's your first time saying it go that long. All right. Someone from Honeymooners died? What? Is that true? I don't... Really? Someone from the Honeymooners is still alive? Wait, come on. Are we for real about this? I do need to get my charger. I forgot to... So, if my computer dies, then I'm sorry. That's going to sort of end the stream there. But, wow, the last one of the Honeymooners. What? Holy shit. I just learned that Joyce Randolph, who played Trixie, the wife of Art Carney's goofy sweater-wearing Ed Norton. Not that Ed Norton. Don't worry. He wasn't in the Honeymooners. That would suck. I'm sorry. Ed Norton's... I don't have a problem with Ed Norton, but Art Carney is way funnier than Ed Norton. Wow, that sucks. I mean, good for her living that long. And oh my god, did you? You probably did send that. You probably did, Ryan, and I forgot. So I'm sorry. Oh, I love the Honeymooners. I think I've seen them all. They do a thing on Pix 11 in New York where they play all the Honeymooners. I think on New Year's Day. And I didn't get to watch it this year, but I DVR'd it so many times when I did have it. Ah, that sucks. All right. Anyway, R.I.P. to her because everyone on that show is a genius. I gotta say. All right. So I'm going to first. Got my charger. Gonna plug this in. I'm gonna use the bathroom. Then we're gonna do Plain Crazy, and then Pete Doctor's Winter, and then we'll do questions, and then I probably won't do timestamps, but I think I'll do a few loose ones, and then we'll do that. Oh, cool! I didn't know that, Ryan. That you have picks on my cable. Oh, that's neat. I like that. By the way, if you haven't seen The Honeymooners, this isn't me. Like, even if The Honeymooners is a great show, there's not a ton of it, but it is absolutely amazing. Like, the one where he has this, like, mother-in-law. Oh, my God. The only thing I did learn about The Honeymooners did not make it to England because I reference it to English people. They don't know what I'm talking about, which I was surprised because The Honeymooners is, like, so influential. You'd think, how do you know sitcoms without... Yeah, if you want to talk about sitcoms, watch The Honeymooners. That's my one problem with a lot of TV people is like they don't know the history of television. Anyway, I've learned that when I've talked to a few of them, and I'm like, "Do you like?" No, I wasn't trying to be insulting. I was just like curious, and they don't. Anyway, all right. One of these days, oh, I like read the Futurama bit. It was like, "One of these days, Alice, wham, boom, straight to the moon." That is, I still think about that. That and when the professor's like tell them I hate them. When I watched Willy Wonka, I was like, this is all I can think about. I mean, it's pretty funny. All right, I'm sorry. This is should know Earth's early astronauts were so fat. Sorry, I said no one died. That's inaccurate. Every week there ever was. All right, I'm going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. Hello, I am back. You guys good? What? Alright. Let's, Oh, Purple Goop made Mario Paint art? I'm confused. I hope it's good. Man. Man, people are like really arguing about the TED thing in the replies. All right. So I'm curious, what is this paint art thing? I'm kind of curious. But I'm going to drink some of this. I know no one. I just need to. Wow, they have the little monster marks in the little tab here. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I like never drink Monster, but all right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change it to Ted the Show's the hit, Disney and the Annies, then Miyazaki Fraud Lady. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's what we'll see. Anyway, it is getting late, so let's keep this going. So I'm going to talk about. It seems like people do like when I talk about Mickey Mouse, which is kind of neat. I guess it's kind of popular right now, but I do actually like talking about this early stuff, so it's actually kind of cool, and it's like kind of a cool series. It's kind of stuff I really like to talk about, actually. So Mickey Mouse. Let's talk about Mickey Mouse's first short made, Plain Crazy. Now, to clarify something, you're probably like, isn't that Steamboat Willie? Steamboat Willie was the first one released. Steamboat Willie is what gave Disney distribution after they left whatever company that was because of everything with Oswald and helped launch what Disney would become. Plain Crazy, however, was the first one produced and did screen. It actually test screened way before, which happened in September, in May 15th, 1928, but it didn't get released until March 17th, 1929, and when it was released with sound in it because of the success of Steamboat Willie. It was not originally made with sound. Those were put in later, which they did do with some silent films, or to re-release them, to make a quick buck off them, they already shot it as a silent film and sound had happened, all sorts of stuff. And that's effectively what they did with Plain Crazy. Although everyone's saying the first 3 Mickey Mouse shorts are in the public domain, that is true to a degree, as the silent version of Plain Crazy is in the public domain. The sound version is not, as it was released actually 4th after Barn Dance, which I didn't know. I really didn't know that. I really thought it was 3rd until I researched this. So it's like, that's actually why, by the way, I re-research things all the time, because there's new context that gets discovered. There's things I thought I knew, but I didn't. Stuff like that. So if you're ever wondering, like if I work on a Saber Sparks video and there's info, I've even worked on a different video for him in the past, I will re-look it up. Just because what you thought you knew, someone could give a new interview, or there'd be a new podcast with them or something, and suddenly you're like, oh, that's now that I understand that. So anyway, sorry, tangent. But yes, this was the first one made. It was alleged, and this is the story that's always been told, that basically this was made by Ub Iwerks. Ub Iwerks drew what people have been said, basically animated all day. He made about 700 drawings a day to make this film happen, which is insanity. This was, much like I've said before, the early Mickey Mouse shorts were all about pop culture things at the time. As much as people say, why do we have to do pop culture references? Why do so many things do that nowadays? The first 3 Mickey Mouses were all pop culture and topical references. This is about Charles Lindbergh, or Lindy. You actually have Mickey Mouse looking at a book, seeing a picture of Charles Lindbergh, and then wanting to fly. I don't really want to get into Charles Lindbergh. It's a whole thing, but he was a famous guy who flew and was real good at it and stuff. That's basically all you really need to know today. Let's not get into, I don't know which thing, but we just want to get into it. But basically, iWorks made most of this. I think everyone else sort of did cleanup, and Disney, I guess, sharpened his pencils. Not exactly sure what Disney did, but one thing you'll notice about this is Mickey and Minnie look dramatically different. Something I probably should have watched them all in a row is Steamboat Willie actually has a redesign of Mickey Mouse. He looked differently in these first two. He looks a little like his, like kind of like stick arms and legs and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of interesting to see how he was first drawn and first animated, because it is different from how we would see him in other stuff. I would actually say, even though this is far less recognizable, if you're going to do your own Mickey Mouse thing, this would probably be an easier one to do, because one, Disney's probably not going to come after you, but then it's obscure, so I don't think the point would not be made. Anyway, so Mickey Mouse sees a picture of Lindbergh, has instead of just abusing animals in this one, he makes the animals into slave labor. So, he forced them to make him a plane. He then has I think it's a dog in the plane that he twists around to make it fly. And then he rips off a turkey's tail feathers and uses it as the tail for his plane. Then Minnie just sort of winks at him, and then they fly around in it. A lot of that is like sort of typical stuff, although it is well done. I do think not only is it impressive iWorks drew so much and did all this himself, there's a lot of actually cool things in this, and particularly the POV shots of them when they're in the plane. I do think, based on the dates, wait, maybe I'm wrong about that. Hold on. Wings 19. Ooh, I'm right. Okay. So because of when Wings came out, which is a 1927 film directed by William Wellman, trust me, I have reviewed it, as I've done with all William Wellman films. One thing that Wings was very inventive for, because William Wellman was a flyer, he had the camera pointed as you were pointing at me, as the camera was pointing at me, but you'd see behind you, so you'd see the scope of how they were flying. Effectively, that's what Ub kind of sort of replicates in this short. He does POV shots of them like flying, so you understand what they're flying towards, what they're flying against, things like that. And there's, I think it does particular cool stuff, particularly with the cow in the plane, kind of a craze of the cow. I think it's Mickey's on racing with the cow with the plane, but a lot of the kind of cool plane POV or perspective shots are really cool. Like, you really have to think like how different that was when you look at what's going on at Van Buren, you look at what's going on at Fleischer Brothers. This was really some really interesting stuff. I'm surprised when I was watching this didn't take off at the time the way it did, particularly like Wings was like a massive hit right when this was test screening. So, I think, I don't know, but, sorry about that. I do quite like and also they do a thing where the at the end when you see the plane like kind of was supposedly crash, they actually did a thing that animators do now where they draw a bigger picture and sort of zoom into it. They did that, but they moved the paper. They had a whole setup with like books and like moved the camera so it looked like the plane was crashing, which is fairly inventive. It looks pretty good for the time period. This is basically like them messing around with the plane and stuff. I do quite like the short. I am surprised how it got pushed so far back and stuff. I think it shows the inventiveness of particularly of iWorks, who's the real, in my mind, creator of Mickey Mouse. What he originally wanted for that character, what Mickey Mouse was, and how smart they were as animators and creators that they were able to come up with a lot of this stuff and use what was popular with flying at the time, which was using the POV thing. That is actually true with everything with Wings and stuff like that. So they were really like having a conversation with live action film as well as doing interesting stuff with animation. I do think what iWorks did here is very impressive. I'm saddened that this didn't get to be the first Mickey Mouse short, but I think it sort of worked out because obviously Steamboat Willie would be the one that is the short. It sort of works a lot better at like kind of selling it with the sound and everything like that. But I think this is a nice adventure. It would be the basis of the first Mickey Mouse comic strip, which was drawn by Up Iwerks. There's a recent comic strips video about the Mickey Mouse comic strips that is fairly good. But I think if you are familiar with Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse shorts and stuff like that, this is a really good little short. And it is not on Disney Plus. You have to go other places. In a lot of places, it is barred in whatever country. I guess in some places it's not as like memorable and crazy, but I do quite like watching it, and I think it's like a fun little Mickey Mouse short. And if you have gotten into more of the silent early Mickey Mouse stuff, I think it is a definite must watch. And it is actually the first Mickey Mouse cartoon produced, even if it wasn't the first one released. It's kind of like an interesting little pilot of what they would do with this character and showing the inventive quality that would kind of make this character eventually a star. All right, let's move on. Winter, Pete Docter's student film. So, all right. So, Pete Docter, when he was a student at Cal Arts, made this film called Winter, and this was in 1988. I'd seen this film before, and the only video that I'm going to link in the description of this, or when this is later, a separate thing, has Pete Docter talking before it. But I thought it was because my kids have to be put in all this like snowsuits and coats and all this stuff to go out, and they're all like puffy and stuff, and you're like surprised they can move. And when watching, it reminded me of this short basically. This was a Pete Docter short that played at Cal Arts and I guess was a bit of a hit, and actually got in the Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival. This is not a controversial short at all. I think you'd be surprised to think that Pete Docter could make something that would be in Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival, but it was, and it toured around, and apparently it played well, according to him and everything I've read. It does feel different than what I expect from Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival. Now it's okay, Ramsey the artist. You go to bed and have a good night. But I think it plays into a pretty essential a part of childhood, which was a kid playing in the snow and seeing snow and wanting to play in the snow. It's basically a little kid sees that it's snowing, gets all excited to their mom, who you never really see, is just a silhouette. You just see this kid, and then the mom gets the kid dressed, pushes him out into the snow, and he can barely move and just falls in the snow. And you see a ton of other little kids who are in all their the snow stuff and barely able to move. This was actually his teacher was Joe Raft, and Chris Buck, who would later go on to do other stuff. I think, didn't he do Frozen, I believe? Chris Buck is thanked in this, but Joe Raft made him storyboard it and really figured out, and Pete Docter admitted he tried to work on the acting in this, and I think with the acting and the emotion is what makes this work, because you see the kid's exuberant face in it, you see him be excited to go outside, you understand what he's feeling, and thank you, Super Dusky. I'm not sure if you're saying goodnight to me or good night to the other person, but I hope you're having a good night, and when you do go to bed, I hope you have a good night. But I think to get this to work, you have to show that emotion and show the realness of that character and show through the acting. And I think something you see through all of Pete Docter's films is the kind of raw, essential kind of emotion that, like, even if you're seeing Inside Out and you don't know what it's like to like get on a bus and leave town when you're a kid or something, you can 100% see it, because he's very good as an animator at using his characters and acting. He's always been very good at it, and I think he's very good at it in this film as well. This is also interesting because it's one of the few Pete Docter, I know he did a few student shorts, and maybe I'll review them later, that is not CG. Like, everything we know about him feature-wise is CG, and it's cool to see a hand-drawn Pete Docter film and what that can be. This is just, I think, when we talk about short films and what they should be, and apparently he actually said he had a when he was at CalArts, a guy named Barry Johnson. A guy named Barry Johnson had heard his story because Pete Docter grew up in Minnesota, and he talked about how his sister was so bundled up that she'd look like could barely move in these things, and Barry Johnson told him it would be a good short. That's what you should do with a good short, is to show an essential little emotion, essential little story that everyone knows, and that is true of Winter. I think it reminded me of just like that moment you play out in the snow, kids see the snow, they're so excited to go out there and build a snowman and stuff. And it's just the essential, like, they're so excited, they tell their parents, they get bundled up, and then they're pushed out into the snow and they can barely move. And I think everybody who grew up with snow at least knows what that is, and as Pete Docter grew up in Minnesota, he definitely did. I think this is a cool little short. It reminds you of what makes Pete Docter such a great animator, and such a great animation director when he did that, and just kind of shows you what a cute little moment how a cute little moment can be a nice little short film. All right, questions. Sorry, I hope that was. I just wanted to do that. I guess there's like barely a reason. Just snowed and I thought of it, and I was like, you know what? I've been saying I was going to do that forever, and I'm going to. All right. Let's go through the questions on the Patreon, and then we'll do questions. I'll put questions on below. All right. Jordan Richard said, who would win the Jim Gisriel Award for Best Animated Film and Series of 2023? Well, first off, I would like to catch up with the 2023 stuff and maybe do a bonus stream where I list those things off, but I think it's fairly obvious. For series, it'd probably be Scavenger's Reign. For film, it'd probably be Spider-Verse. But I need to watch other things. I don't want to fully say that because I haven't seen Wish. I haven't seen Migration. Maybe this wouldn't be, but I as of right now, I haven't seen everything I think I would. Okay. Austin, hey Jim, okay, I'll do, since he mentioned it, I will do it second now, because it is listed second. Also said, hey Jim, what a great show this and last week. My question, if Paul Blart Mall Cop Day becomes a holiday, how should we celebrate it? What food should we get the day off work? First off, we should absolutely get the day off work. And, does he have pretzels or something? I think we should all have margaritas. Because I think he had margaritas. Didn't work out for him, but I think we should. I'm just going to drink this. I don't know. Cheers. Whatever. Sinram says, in 24 hours, I will be in New York City. What's your favorite NY movie location that you've been to in person? Actually, the Subway Hoyt Schermerhorn is where they filmed The Warriors. They filmed the Michael Jackson Bad video. That one's kind of one that people don't realize. And there's like a lot. If you look it up, you'd be shocked at how much is filmed there. I'd probably say that one. Yeah, I'd probably say that one. Just because I go there and I think of it, and anytime you see a movie in New York, it's like, oh, you too. Like, Coming to America is there. The Warriors, The Wiz, Michael Jackson's Bad. Not Weird Al's Fat. Apparently that was filmed on a studio. That's the only one that comes to mind now. I know you can also find the Do the Right Thing street. Apparently, someone told me I'd been down it, but I don't remember that. Wait, I just see Sidram going, did you visit the men's room as well? And now I'm just lost on that one. All right. Thanafoga said, hey, Jim, just in case I don't make it to the show live. Well, you did. Congratulations. I will be flying down to Baltimore near the time. I wanted to ask how ambitious the Minecraft movie is sounding like. Do you think it could be a potential springboard for Jared House to make the comeback he deserves? Yes, I would say I do think he'll probably make a comeback off that. It will probably be a hit. I mean, Minecraft's so big. My daughter's been getting more into Minecraft. It is such a huge, like, kind of property. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Wasn't a hit. I'm sure it will do well for him. I think it will. So, I think I'm going to do a few of these because I'm starting to feel it. But let's see. Let's get as many of these as we can. Cornbread asks, The Discord server has been threatening me with watching the first Ted. Austin keeps talking about Ted Funko Pops. What should I do? This is a lighthearted question. I mean, the first Ted's fine. I'm confused about the Ted Funko Pops thing, but I would say my one thing with Ted is, how has there not been Ted does a TED Talk? I don't understand how that has never happened. That just seems weird to me. But anyway, I mean, you should watch it. You know, the review was my throwback last week also. Black Saxwinkle says, or the review of the first movie, who should play young Paul Blart in the Paul Blart TV show? I can't think of a kid who would be right for it. Like, who would be, or maybe like a teenager? I don't know. Does anyone have that drip that Kevin James does? I don't think so. I don't think that's even possible. I think it'd just be Kevin James all the way. Nathaniel Foga, is Paul Blart Mall Cop the best Die Hard sequel? Oof. You know, okay. Die Hard with a Vengeance is pretty solid. After that, though, Die Hard 4 is like, eh. Die Hard 2 is like, eh. So you know what? I would say it's the second best. After Die Hard with Vengeance. Although, actually, I would say Speed is the best Die Hard in the... And I also think Home Alone. So maybe I'd go like fourth or something. I would put it in my top 5 Die Hard related thingies, I guess. Rocket Lobax. Will Seth MacFarlane ever answer my fan letter I sent him in 2013? What the... Please post that somewhere and let me know. That sounds amazing. He should. I think he should. Black Winkle. Have you read the Akira manga? I just started it. I read a couple of them when I first started coming to America. And I forget most. I just remember I was like, wow, this is complicated and pretty different. Pretty different. Cornbread asks. What is Cornbread ask? Sorry, I scrolled down by accident. Cornbread asks, if you had $50,000... No, hold on. Okay. If you had $50,000 of disposable cash for a YouTube video, would you make a music video of you and that one chicken run lady chicken you said was hot? Probably not. I would probably just use it and buy my, like, if I could have like a set, because this is just my living room, you know, I would love that. The thing is, I've made stuff for cheap for so long. I don't know what I would, like, I'm not trying to be like humble or something, but I don't know what I would do, you know. Maybe a helicopter. I don't know. I don't have those Mr. Beastie ideas. I would just be like, maybe it would be like, you know, buy the rights to actually have shots of the movie in the review. Maybe something like that. Like, I wonder how much, maybe that would cost $50,000. I would probably be like, 50,000 could help me out a lot. I don't know. Sorry, I should be like jokey about that. Oh, I would get, what were those, the thing in the Mr. Beast video where they're little Orby things, and I don't know. Get Madonna to sing my song or something. I don't know. Sorry. Super Dudusky. Chicago has the rat hole that recently became famous. What does New York have? What? I don't know. What the fuck? The rat hole? What, did I miss that or something? There's a rat hole? I mean, I guess we have like the synagogue tunnels. So that's neat. I guess. Maybe. Anyway. Okay. Super Dusky. Are you still thinking of putting Movie Crap live on Spotify? Will it be all past episodes, just the new ones as they upload? That is a good question, actually. I think that would take time to sit down and figure out, and I do have to like pay for that, I believe. I have to figure that out. Right now is not a good time for it. I think I wanted to get a few things going that I can't really get into at this present time because I don't have release dates for that kind of stuff. And then I was probably going to try to do that. I do still plan on doing that. I don't think it would be past episodes because of that. I mean, I don't want it to affect the views of this or anything. So it's sort of like I have to really sit down with it, basically. But I do plan. I haven't visited it in a while, but I only have so much time, and as I've said, I'm one person, so that's kind of it. Sorry. Not plausible. You ever see the Weird Al show? Yes, I have, and I actually watch it on Saturday morning, so it's not my fault it got canceled. Oh, the fight scene in the Warriors men's room. No, that's a different. I think that's 125th. I think, but a lot of like the Warriors takes place there. Jordan Slothlow, what are your thoughts on the Family Guy and future episodes based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I don't remember the Family Guy one. The Futurama one is amazing. So maybe I watched the Family Guy one back in the day, but I don't remember it. Cornbread, with Jack Black landing a prominent role in the Minecraft and Mario, what is the next Jack Black video game movie? You know what? He should replace Robotnik. Would be a great idea. Not plausible. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Crab? Mr. Gisriel? Nice. It does have a lot of Middle Eastern. Oh, that's disappointing. I forgot. It's been a little bit since I remember liking it. Wait, who wrote For Once? Sometimes I'm like, why did that? Oh man, fuck! I forgot about this, but somebody made a cool Knockforce tribute, and you know what? I don't have the time to find it, but you'll see a tweet about it, and it looked really cool. I put a comment in it. I will post it in the Discord later, I think. Who wrote For Once? Okay, Cornbread. Oh, Al Vasquez said, "Is the revolution now televised?" Yeah, I guess so. That was hard to say. What's something you like to eat when it's really cold outside? Oh, that's a good question. Usually something spicy. Like I like Mexican food, pasta. Everyone likes pasta though. So anyway, rat hole. I do not understand the rat hole thing. I must have missed something. Anyway, did I get everybody? I think I did. Oh, last time you fell into a toilet, super dusky. I think like once when I was, because I thought the seat was down and it wasn't, but I don't have an epic like cool bathroom story. Sorry. Anyway, next week will be a big week. I think that's it. Sorry. Next week will be a big week because of a new film rat video on Thursday, finally. And the Oscar nominations. I know there'll be a show on Wednesday. I don't know if there'll be a bonus show or something like that, because I know some of you are not as into the Oscar stuff, but we'll try to figure it out. I'll figure out how to do that. But there'll be lots of cool stuff. Oh, the other thing, as I usually do a Shrek review connected to that, I will be reviewing the first Puss in Boots. That will not be next week. That'll be the week after, just to clarify. And yes, and there'll be a director of Almost Directed tomorrow, and hopefully the beekeeper soon. Anyway, I think that's it. That's everything. Thank you for everyone who watches the videos. Thank you for everyone who gave a super chat. That was cool of you. Cheers to you. I think I gotta do some dishes, and I'm probably gonna go to sleep after that. So we'll see. There might be some. Yeah, I do want to try to do another stream. It's more just the time and like making sure all that stuff works out. So we'll see. I will let you know. But there'll be a new cartoon next week. That'll be cool, and there'll be reviews. There'll be other stuff. There'll be cool stuff. I think you'll dig it. But anyway. You all have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support. Thank you if you're a patron. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for everything. I really do appreciate it. It's really awesome. I do not wear clothes doing dishes. And I will see you all next time. Yeah, I think that's it. And have a good night. And I'll see you next week. And be good to each other. Be nice to people. I should just go now. I'm talking random stuff. All right, bye and subscribe if you would like to.